Ted Reyes. They're both with Elevenacity. Two founding members, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. So, how long have you guys been together? I mean, as a group. When did you start the group?
Yeah, Nathan found me quite some time ago. When was it?
Maybe, well, let's see, 2017? Let's see, what year is this, 2024? Wow, I'm not even really sure. It's hard to kind of keep track of. It was definitely a couple of years before COVID.
Oh, really? So you guys, what, like 5 years then? Or?
Yeah, I think it's at least 5 years.
Really? I thought you were been together much longer than
It's
that.
between 5 and 10.
5 and 10?
Yeah, it's somewhere between 5 and 10.
Okay, all right. And
Yeah.
and so it's, why
Everything's
the Elevenacity name?
Ah. Okay, so it used to be a lot worse.
Really?
The band name used to be Wildy Wildflower.
Like Wally Coyote?
Oh yeah, Wildflower?
Yeah, it was horrible.
Wildflower.
We couldn't
Wildflower.
even. It was like Coach Shashevsky. We couldn't even spell our own name.
Okay.
And so the story is actually you know who Victor Borga is, right? Because
Yes.
you're a keyboardist.
Yeah.
So he was also a comedian, and he had a routine called inflationary grammar.
Okay, yeah.
So, like for example, like fornicating would be five-nicating.
Oh.
Tennis,
11th.
I see.
tendinitis.
Got it, yeah.
Tenacious.
Yeah.
11-acious.
Yeah.
Well, right. So
Tenacity,
that was
11-acid.
when he did it. It was funny. We were stoned, big surprise, and thought it was a good idea.
It also has, there's a reference in Spinal Tap where, all of your dials and most of all your gear, it's analog, goes to 10.
Goes to 10, yeah.
Right?
Right.
But in their, in the movie Spinal Tap, their gear, their guitar gear, and their secret success secret was that their gear went to 11.
Okay, got it.
And then there was the Randy Clemens angle. Remember what he said?
What did he say?
No,
You tell me. Oh, please.
No.
I forget.
No, I forgot. So he thought it had something to do with that we took 11 hits of acid.
Oh, wow.
That was his theory. So like a good name, everybody comes up with their own interpretation.
Yeah, that has the acidity in it.
So it has nothing to do with the number
And then it could
of
also
players in the
be
group.
no. We reached 11 on stage, I think, once.
Oh, okay.
Because we do have a lot of collaborations. We bring
Oh,
people
I see.
in.
Right, it's not just me and Nathan, although, like Nathan, this is his brainchild.
Yeah.
I've been tasked with the force of staffing, this musical desire of what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that staffing has taken us through so much changes.
Oh, yeah.
So many people have
Yeah, that's
been
big, yeah.
a member of the Elevenacity band, as well as those who have joined us as guests
Oh,
on
okay,
our
yeah.
stage.
All right.
I think even your bass player might have sat in with us once.
Oh, which one was that?
Mike
Mike.
Grigsby or Scrigs.
Oh, Grigsby, yeah.
Yeah.
One time, he was with the group, yeah.
He sat in with us one time
Oh,
too.
okay, yeah.
So that variety thing that we have happens a lot.
And people will come to the studio and they'll want to perform some songs, and Ted, with his musical background, he's able to chart it out with the number system, and we're able to teach it to ourselves and to the band, and
Do
they can
somewhat of
perform.
a respectable job. with
And
it.
so
We usually have like a week
Yeah.
or two, if we're lucky, to
Okay.
rehearse with these groups, and they're every week. They're concurrent.
So you're playing guitar, and that's your only instrument, Nathan?
well, I've been playing the piano.
Piano? Oh, that's right.
But
you
not
did
on
different
stage,
piano.
just for my own exploration.
Yeah.
It's very helpful for me to figure out the guitar, and
Yeah.
the really scary news is that, like, you know, sitting down at the piano, that you make the realization it's like, oh wow, this chord sounds good, and you don't even really necessarily know what it is.
Oh yeah,
And
I know,
that
that's
makes
what
you,
it is.
that knowledge makes you dangerous on
Yeah.
the guitar. So
It does.
I've gotten to be a little bit dangerous.
Yes, that's
Just
a good thing.
Just a little bit.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, because it's, for me, it's actually a bit of a quagmire. And I think I've said this in a couple other videos. Is that when I'm doing chords on the piano, you know, there's all kinds of inversions in there and all this and that, right? And the guitar player asks you what chord you're playing, and I'm like, well, you know, it's a C, but there's an inversion on it, and it's got a ninth in it or a seventh, and then it's saying, well, what is that? You know, I'm not going to sit there and try to figure out what formally what the chord is. But, you know, yeah, I get you on that one. Yeah. That's neat.
So yeah, so there's that, and I bought a bass, so we have a bass in the
Oh.
studio too, and I really like playing the bass, but
Yeah.
it requires a whole different mindset and approach, and you know I'm
That's true.
still trying to figure out the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, whatever it is that we can get our hands on, we're interested in.
Yeah. So what are you playing, Ted?
I'm a guitar player,
You're a guitar player too.
right?
Yeah, because I see you both up on stage. You're up front. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
We both do vocals and guitar, trading out,
Uh-huh.
you know, the lead role on whatever song, you
Yeah.
know, we're doing. And we also have a bass player, Michael, now who's been a real solid member of the band.
Yeah.
Bass was always the hardest role for us to land, to
Yeah.
you know, to make the trio or add a drummer, those
Yeah.
kind of things. Drummers were also, geez, we went through a lot of
yeah.
drummers.
Bass and drums are
Yeah.
difficult to match.
We finally did get this
Yeah.
really good G. Michael Turner, bass player,
Uh-huh.
who fit in pretty well with us,
Uh-huh.
and then just got better as time
Oh,
went
okay.
on.
And he just got married last week.
Oh, we did.
Congratulations,
Yeah,
Mike.
it's okay.
Mo.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mike and Mo.
Yeah,
That's
Turner.
good.
Turner.
Turner, huh?
And he, you know, like he brings quite a bit to the band.
Okay.
He writes songs.
He writes his,
Oh.
so we perform at least a couple of original numbers,
Yeah.
and those are his.
Okay.
And also, he's got really a unique ability to remember stuff.
Oh.
You know, it's really, we're old guys,
Right.
and the
And we
big,
don't use,
yeah,
one of the things about us, who we
Yeah.
like to, you know, tell that about our band, is that we're not the guys with the,
yeah, we're not the
screens
iPad guys.
Use
that
charts
are
or
telling
nothing?
us
No.
what,
Yeah.
you know, is going on.
Yeah.
We're still pretty much, you know, eye contact on the
Yeah.
stage, fielding the ball,
Yeah.
you know, as it's
Exactly.
And
in
we
play.
have
Yeah.
we have the best available equipment for 1976.
No kidding.
For 1976.
Oh, jeez, I can't get it now. Yeah, you have me going on what?
Now the other guys that got like the modern gear, he's right. I've
Yeah.
patched together a system
Oh,
that's as good as it can possibly be
okay.
for being analog and non-convert soul to the, you know, the audience that can walk around
Yeah.
in the stage and or in the audience and listen and change
Yeah.
things. That mixer guy doesn't exist. It's me up on the stage doing the best I can for front of house mix and monitor
Yeah.
mix. And sometimes I get a lot of times I get a lot of really great help from
Yeah.
two really important guys I gotta mention.
Uh-huh.
There's Ken March, and he was our go-to guy for a year or long, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Ken March worked with Elevenacity, so
Okay, good.
not only was there this, you know, band that we were growing,
Uh-huh.
but also this engineer that had to really help to
Okay.
make the thing happen. And I'm really grateful for
Yeah.
his
He
help.
was like your sound guy.
He was the
Your
sound
go-to
guy. In fact, yeah,
person,
sound guy, Ken March.
Oh, that's
his
massive.
thing now, sound guy. Look him up. soundguy.com.
Yeah, and, you know, he's got a degree in this stuff.
Oh, he does?
He used to
Great.
work for
Yeah.
an aerospace company.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay,
you know,
all
one
right.
of those in town that,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
He's retired now and
Yeah.
likes to continue his engineering exploration, so he's
Yeah.
working for a couple of different bands,
Okay.
Top End Center and whoever else he works with. Still comes and helps me out. And the other guy is the guy that sold me everything on the cheap,
Uh-huh.
a dear friend of mine who, I mean, he's forgotten more about sound engineering than a
Okay.
lot of these kids are ever going to learn.
Okay.
He's been working in the sound industry professionally for APS, Arizona Pro Sound,
Okay.
that big company that does the
Yeah, yeah,
TCC
yeah.
and everybody.
Yeah, I've used those,
And
yeah, I
they're
use those, yeah.
just incredible.
Yeah.
And he goes across the country doing events.
Yeah, they do a lot of shows.
all
yeah.
over.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
just
familiar with
He's
one of
carded.
those guys. He's
Yeah.
carded
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
for the union, yellow
Yeah.
card
That's
on shows and such
That's good to know.
sometimes. And he's just a dear friend and
Yeah.
plays with the band on keyboards.
And Ted and him
Oh,
go
really?
back how many years, Ted?
Yeah, well, when we were, when I was just out of college, right, 19 or 20.
So that's like 70,
Oh,
75 years? How many years?
is it-
What? No, seriously, it's
No.
a long time.
No,
It's a
it
long
was,
time. It's over 40.
Yeah, it was over.
over 40 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah. So you guys are, you've been at the hut,
Right.
like regulars at the hut then?
Since
Yeah.
the COVID, we got the
We have a
gig there
weekly,
that, you know,
It
just
started on
happenstance.
Thursday.
Yeah,
So
We
you,
were- yeah, tell the
so
story.
you interviewed Neon Prophet, right?
Right,
They were
Neon
the ones
Prophet.
before.
They do
So
the Saturdays.
everything in Tucson is connected.
oh really?
Yeah. So when I first started playing out, it was because my good buddy Tony Murata
Yeah,
was managing the One Heartbeat, and
Oh.
Black Man Clay was still alive, and he was a very inspirational, interesting person. Even if you weren't playing in the group,
Uh-huh.
it was worthwhile to go out. And for me as a guitar player, what could be more fun than going out and following a drum corps around?
yeah,
And there's a little dirty secret about me that I share with people, and they don't really understand how I could be a musician. And I really don't like the form of a song.
okay.
I don't. It's not my preference.
Uh-huh.
I study it. I realize it's important. It's an accommodation to the band and to the audience. But I feel like the form of a song
Uh-huh.
has taken music and made it like a slave to something
Oh, okay.
that it doesn't need to be or shouldn't be.
I understand what you're saying.
He's young.
So anyway, but for that and other reasons,
Uh-huh.
it was really fun for me to follow a drum corps around.
Okay.
Because and I was one of the types of guitar players where like I didn't show up at the jam and want to play all the songs that I knew.
Uh-huh.
That didn't really interest me. I was like, oh wow, you guys are jamming. Okay, I'll find a chord and play for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I was happy. I was
Oh,
happy
okay.
doing that. And so this group became involved in a weekly event at the HUD called Tribal Thursday. That was the brainchild. What happened was Randy of Top Dead Center, who Ted found Top Dead Center with alongside. Every Saturday they had like a 420 show, and after Mike Begalia died,
Yeah.
they made it sort of a revolving door,
Okay.
and they would also have what's called a tweener set. And the Tony Falcon, who is part of Neon Prophet,
Right,
who you
yeah.
interviewed,
Right.
and his wife Nikki,
Uh-huh.
they were working on original material. Randy hired them to do a tweener, or
Oh.
offered them to do the tweener, heard them and said, you guys are really great,
Yeah.
and you should have your own show. And so they kind of angled with the bar,
Uh-huh.
and they started doing this thing
On
on
Thursday
Thursday nights
Ah.
called Tribal Thursdays.
And that's where they continued. Well, they brought
And
in
they brought in the One
One
Heartbeat.
Heartbeat. Was-
And so that was where the whole thing started, because I would drag my guitar down to the hut on Thursday nights, and that's kind of when I was starting to work with Ted.
Oh.
And I said, why don't you come down with me and we can do, and then, you know, everybody kind of knew Ted, and Ted is the type of musician that can really play in any genre. And he knew those guys, and, you know, reggae, jazz, whatever.
It was lucky for me because I wanted to still be involved with music as much as I could during the COVID and all that. Well, that was a whole weird thing, the whole COVID thing.
Oh, yeah,
that was
yeah,
a
yeah,
whole
it
weird
did
thing.
just-
But during that time, I was still working at the Hut as a musician with the Brian Dean Trio. Now, Brian Dean is a musician with his wife, Coco Matsumoto.
Okay, yeah.
And she's a bass player, and he's a guitar player. And he has different drummers, Ralph Gilmore, Danny Clancy, Kevin, someone or another, I forget. But he has different drummers that'll come in and play with him from time to time. And he gave me, you know, some stage time during that. So somehow, I don't know, you know, through a course of events, people coming and going, the bar changing, making changes, we ended up with Friday nights. I had a Friday night with a different band called Sections with Alan Barnes and Daniel Thomas and Richard Islas.
Richard Islas,
Yeah, excellent keyboard player, vocalist.
Yeah.
Had a really great following and everything. They just couldn't make the time slot,
Oh, okay.
which was an early start time. Everybody had day jobs. All of them had day jobs.
Yeah.
They couldn't write their way around. So, you know, cost me having that band. We just moved Elevenacity, which started, as he says, as a tweener for the
Also.
Falcons Thursday night.
Okay.
And that was like our first time that we got to put something together and put it on the stage at the Hut.
Okay.
So been there since then, you know, since
Yeah, that was sort of a
that
little
would
bit of
answer
a
that
puzzle
question.
there.
A
Yeah,
long,
now I understand
a
it.
lot of history
Yeah.
to get to where we are now. And then since then we've just steady occupied the stage every Friday night.
Every Friday.
Since
That's
then.
interesting because you're every Friday night there at the Hut.
That's a rough one.
Yeah, and
too.
Profit is every Saturday at Chicago Mart.
Right, it's a rough one to
You
do.
know, and
Those,
that's
you
been
know,
consistent for you.
right.
For what?
When we
How
were
many years
kids,
now?
well, when we
A
were,
few years,
yeah,
almost 4 years.
Wow.
Wow.
years.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
that's a good run.
yeah. When we were kids, main thing
We're
was,
chugging towards.
you gotta have a weekly.
Yeah.
You gotta have a weekly. Weekly's gotta be on your calendar.
And for us too, it's like because of the equipment getting aside,
Yeah.
it's not really that we're not portable. We're not really a scalable
Oh.
act.
Although we've done some
You know,
jobs.
we've done
at
jobs,
town.
but it's
Yeah.
not like if there's equipment there and
Yeah.
they can backline us, it's like
Oh,
no problem. But
okay.
But
if
we've
we have to
taken
take our
stuff.
own, we
We've
took it to
done
Parker.
Okay, you did.
Yeah, we did.
So-
Four-wheel drive.
We went up there. Do you know?
Parker, Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's
It
what
was really
Parker
cool.
is Lake Havasu,
I was the first Jew
More or
that
less.
was ever in Parker.
right? Right?
No, Parker
Yes,
is the
that's
other
what I mean.
dam.
Yeah,
Lake
yeah.
Havasu is one dam, and then Parker is
Well, Parker Dam-
Parker Canyon Lake. I
Oh,
think.
okay, yeah. But
Or-
it's close to Lake
it's-
Havasu, isn't it?
Not
It doesn't
really,
look
they're
that
divergent.
impressive on the
Yeah,
outside,
yeah.
but
Okay,
from
yeah.
what I understand, the dam is actually one of the world's largest concrete structures.
Oh,
Like you can't see it,
Yeah.
the way that it dams the under.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Yeah.
we were here to talk about geology.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
Parker was hysterical.
Yeah,
That-
Oh, okay.
the
that
band
was- oh my
has
gosh.
done a lot.
Yeah.
Matthew Weininger was our
drummer
drummer.
at that time.
Oh.
Do you know
Okay.
Matthew?
no.
He's
He's a
product of
phenom. He's a
Chip
prodigy.
Ritter.
Really? Is that
Chip
good?
Ritter is one of the greatest of all time drummers in Tucson.
Okay.
Probably clinically the most, respected and
Yeah.
awesome drummer.
That's cool. What's his name?
Chip Ritter. And Matthew Weininger is a student of his, a product of
Okay,
his teachings.
Yeah.
But, Matthew, did a lot on
Yeah.
his own to
Okay.
become who he is. And is just a silly, great heart and a lovely kid.
Okay.
Just a great musician.
Yeah.
Matthew is his own guy now.
Yeah.
He's an adult finally.
How do you categorize your music? Or how would you?
Wow. Variety.
Variety?
Yeah, variety. Elevenacity is variety.
Okay, so
All
I know
about
you do some rock, right? So,
Oh.
Sort of,
Well,
not heavy rock.
We try to be, but from my perspective, what we're best at is selecting material that creates a space for improvisation.
Oh, okay.
So,
Got it.
jam band
yeah,
music.
jam band music.
And even if the song didn't call for it, we'll
We'll do it
find,
anyway.
we'll
Oh,
find
okay.
a way to do
Yeah.
it to
That's
it
neat.
anyway.
It's different. In a way, it's different because most people have a set.
Yeah,
set.
no, it's strange like that. We don't operate with a set
Yeah.
list. We
Or,
do,
like we said, with the iPad.
and we'll get. We're not afraid. Like our approach. Like there are a lot of bands, and I respect it a lot.
Uh-huh.
And maybe it's a discipline that I should acquire before
Yeah.
I blow it off. But we're not the type of band that walks up to the chalkboard and executes the equation
Yeah.
and demonstrates for the class how this all works.
Okay.
We get lost, and
Ah.
we do it intentionally.
Okay.
And that's what I think we enjoy. And luckily,
Yeah.
luckily the music, the audience is responsive. And usually when we have a really weird show, and when we really get out there, is when people are very like, "Wow, what was that?"
Okay.
And they're never going to hear it again, and neither
Oh,
are we.
wow. That's true, huh?
And neither
That's true.
are we.
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat. That's neat. Right now, let me put the question this way. You have guest singers, and then you have people that have been with the band for some time.
And musicians too,
Okay.
we have sit-ins too. If we see somebody out in the audience with their axe, if it's
Yeah.
a trumpet or if it's a saxophone,
Oh, really?
and we know them, like it can't be somebody that we don't know. But like
Oh.
Ted and I, we started out like before we had a gig, we were going to open mics, and Ted knows all the people that run the open mics. It used to be
Okay.
Deacon
Yeah.
and Brian Dean. Anybody that is trying to get on stage
Yeah.
in Tucson and is serious about it has met Deacon.
Oh.
And they probably have a couple of Deacon stories, and we
Uh-huh.
have a couple of Deacon stories.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we wound up really knowing a lot of people. Like we had this guy from. It was really he knew like all American songs. He knew how to play them and how to sing them better
Yeah.
than we did. And the guy was from Germany. We
Yeah.
were like went to an open mic and we were like, wow, dude, you got a show. Why don't you come?
Yeah.
And he did a great job.
Yeah.
But like that's the kind of thing that we'll do that other
Yeah.
bands won't.
Okay. Yeah. I know you've been video.
Yeah.
And on stage and stuff. So.
Yeah, Frank Ramos was one of the first guys to be doing the videos for the One Heartbeat
Uh-huh.
and Falcons and Brian Dean.
Yeah.
And, of course, Top Dead Center.
Yeah.
And so probably our earliest video captures would be Frank Ramos.
And yeah, he deserves, like the whole music community in Tucson really deserves to give a big shout out to Frank Ramos because he was really,
the videographer.
he was
early
very
times.
extremely underappreciated. I mean, he had to deal with the Top Dead Center, and he, I think, authentically and truly loved Randy and loved the
Okay, yeah.
band and the music. But then I think it kind of became an expectation on him,
Yeah.
and he
wasn't getting compensated for it?
and
Well, I shouldn't ask.
in whatever it was that happened, all that I'm saying is that he spent countless hours on his feet with a video
Editing.
recorder in
Yeah.
his hand, and he's captured like
Yeah.
countless hours
Yeah.
of
The
material.
greatest of
Yeah.
greats, Heather Hardy, Danny Krieger.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Some people go underappreciated, huh? I mean.
He's one
especially-
of them for sure.
Yeah. And and then the videographers are, there's a lot of work in that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work in it.
Yeah, you're on the spot out there trying to get the light.
Yeah. Well, the lighting, and you got all the lighting, you got all the sound and everything.
Yeah,
Very
that's the
nice.
other
You gotta
thing.
capture all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Good
people
luck.
come over to you and
That's
say
it.
like,
Yeah, good
"Hey,
luck.
when
That's
are you
all I got to
when are you
say.
gonna come do that for my band?"
Yeah, exactly.
know?
Everybody wants it,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So, any travel in the past or in the future, or are you planning?
Ooh,
Plans up there?
future, yeah. Well, everybody wants to go do things.
Yeah.
They don't want to do things with the band. They just want to go like a day off.
Okay.
Like we said, we've been working
Yeah.
weekly for years and years.
Uh-huh.
It would be nice if the band had an out of town.
Yeah, I think it was like 150 live
The last
shows
one that
per
we
year.
had
Seriously.
was just
That's a lot.
close. What was Maricopa? We were
Yeah.
up in Maricopa,
Yeah.
just south of Phoenix, and we did a party out there. It was really nice. Just recently, we did a wedding, which included Mario Sarabia from the Legion of Mario.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that can, like Nathan said, he's a
Yeah.
friend of ours, can just come and sit in and
Yeah.
play. And so we're ready to do things, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, well, like you were saying, if somebody's providing the back line, so
right, it's
then
easier
then
for
it's
us.
easier.
Yeah.
But
So
it's
right
not
now
always the case.
we haven't been hunting a lot of those gigs.
Oh.
We're not going back to Parker probably, so
That's just, there's a really, yeah, it's this the whole story of the gigs is in and of itself is worthy of a whole interview.
but I might be able to get us,
I'm just
something.
throwing out.
I might be able to get us something down in Bisbee.
Oh,
Maybe something where next time the harvest
Okay.
goes down there, maybe Elevenacity
Okay,
could go
yeah.
down there, and we could all troop down there and
Yeah.
make a big bus.
so right now you do have 11 members, or is
No, we have
Like
two
eight?
we have two drummers.
Uh-huh.
We have
That's
a double drummer configuration. It's another really great,
Okay.
and the drummers are, it's like Secretariat and Seabiscuit.
Yeah.
Definitely. I would have to say definitely he's right because the seasoned veteran from New York, he's definitely
Clifford Wesley.
Yeah.
an amazing.
Do you know him? Oh my
An
goodness.
amazing.
Yeah, Clifford, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's
Yeah, I've met him.
secretariat. He's out of the highest schools.
I remember
there.
he's with the drum corps.
Yeah,
he was
he's
drum corps.
incredible, Clifford Wesley.
Yes.
And then of course the Seabiscuit is somebody who
Well,
isn't
sorry,
old.
Jamal.
He's not old,
Uh-huh.
but nobody would have thought this guy. I mean, he only later in his life, after having children, decided he wanted to pursue his musical career.
Okay. Yeah.
And if anybody thought that was too late, it's not, because in his 30s, he in just a few years became a seasoned veteran as a player with dynamics, feel for the stage,
Yeah.
knowledge of grabbing onto
Uh-huh.
things and holding on to them.
Yeah.
A technical guy that likes technical advances
Yeah.
with equipment and in-ear monitoring and
Yeah.
such. He's really a great guy. I was lucky to have him.
He's gifted athlete too.
And,
So good job U of A with
Oh.
Javel.
Yeah.
He's a great team player.
Yeah, great team player.
And-
And then also, like I said, Clifford
Yeah.
Wesley. The two of those guys are just,
Yeah.
wow, we're lucky right now.
Yeah, so those are the drums, and then
Yeah.
like we told you, we got Mike on the bass,
Okay.
and me and Ted, and that forms really the core.
Yeah.
And then Bill, who sold us all the equipment when he's available,
Okay.
because he
Would
does a
be
lot
our
of traveling,
Keyboard guy.
and so we can't really count
But
on him.
we
Yeah.
often have somebody like Brad
Yeah, we
from
got-
the Harvest.
Okay.
He'll come in, and we'll have Rick Shaw in a couple of weeks. Rick Shaw, Ted Ed. You'll see him. Rick Shaw is his Facebook address. So he's a keyboard player. We'll have him on stage. And returning, just to remember that for about a year before she got pregnant with twins,
Right.
we had this really great vocalist
Okay.
joining us, and really helping us,
Yeah.
a lot, with our vocals.
She was, what impressed me about her
Yeah.
was when she came to, first of all, I heard her singing in the audience.
Okay.
And, that's really how she got the gig.
Okay.
But what impressed me, what like made me determined to convince the guys in the band that we really, have to take her seriously.
Yeah.
Was that she was busking online basically. She was streaming videos
Yeah.
of herself
Oh, yeah.
playing the
Making
guitar
money.
and
Yeah.
making money doing that.
Yeah.
And,
So she came
yes,
in,
she
and
came
I
in as a
started paying
professional
her
as
just
far as
like,
I was
What's her
concerned.
yeah, Kelsey Bobelsi is all. Kelsey
that's-
Bobelsi
Okay.
was what I think was
No,
her
no,
early.
wait.
Now it's Kelsey.
Kelsey.
Kelsey, yeah.
SEA.
Okay.
Like Kelsey.
And I think
That's
well,
her new Facebook address.
Okay.
yeah, she has an actual name. And
Kelsey Bobelsi.
I happen to know
Why?
it.
So if I were to go to the hut looking for you guys on a Friday, what time would you start?
Well, we are targeted for 5 o'clock. We'll usually have, the music rolling by then. But we're still adjusting our
Okay.
frameworks by then. It's about 5
15-ish,
Ish.
20, between 5:15
And you go for what?
5:30 the latest.
We'll go about an hour.
An
No,
hour?
well, we go to 9 o'clock.
Okay, so
Well, we
from,
go- yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from,
you're
from
right.
not
We
5
play
to 9.
we
nine.
play until we
Yeah,
play until
right.
9, and sometimes depending on the DJ, like
Okay.
we're very flexible.
Oh, okay.
So like if it's the type of night where like a couple of weeks ago
Yeah.
there was a big like sorority party and
Yeah.
they were all had to try to get ready and
Yeah.
start partying with the DJ. So like we'll stop at 8:45,
Yeah.
and let them do their thing.
I really,
Or
I really
if-
like the 5 o'clock thing.
Or,
Yeah.
I really do,
yeah,
because
And
it's
then the
happy
doors
hour.
open at 5, so
Yeah.
for
No
the
cover.
venue, so we
Yeah.
tell we broadcast it, and hypothetically it's possible that we could
Yeah.
start at 5.
Yeah.
No cover.
But we have no
Yeah.
cover, drink
Yeah.
specials,
Oh, wow.
$3 beers
And, it's really incredible.
So the hut, that's on 4th?
on 4th,
Fourth,
4th
okay.
and 7th, like just
And
a couple
7th, okay,
blocks
yeah.
before the bridge,
I remember now.
with the big giant tiki.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's neat. So 5 o'clock.
5
that's-
o'clock Fridays,
Yeah, that's
11acity.
neat. Yeah, because some
The
of
hut
some of the
staff,
other bands
like,
you gotta
thank
wait
you to
till
the hut
9 o'clock to
staff
start.
for having us.
And every show is different.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
like so we do recycle some of them. We do recycle quite a bit of our material.
Uh-huh.
Too much, in fact, but our repertoire is really quite large.
Okay.
So we're able to make every show different. And we've never replicated a show.
So are you indoors or outdoors?
It depends on the weather.
Mostly
When it's
outdoors. 'cause
incredibly cold, we've
Yeah.
had to go inside.
just a couple times a year because they have 2 stages.
Generally,
Okay, yeah.
we
They
want
have-
to be
yeah.
on the
Yeah.
outdoor stage,
Okay.
always.
Yeah.
If weather forces us under the tent, then we'll go to the tent.
Under the
If
tent.
weather forces us inside because it's extremely cold,
Technically, on that night when it forces us under the tent,
Yeah.
they don't call it a tent anymore that
Okay.
night.
it's an 11th.
It's a what?
11th, not tent.
Oh, I see.
Tent.
Now you know how it works.
11th.
Now you know.
Yeah. Okay, got it. Let's see. All right. Wow. Okay, that's where I've seen you. I mean, yeah, and it looks like sometimes there's still, daylight because you're playing early.
Yep, that's why it remains daylight, because
Okay.
we're playing early.
A lot of our early stuff is daylight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and back then, the best guitar that I had was my acoustic. It still is actually the best guitar that I own.
Acoustic.
Is my acoustic guitar.
Electric acoustic? Or?
Yeah, so I'll be playing a lot of these psychedelic electric songs
Okay.
on my acoustic
Okay.
instead of an electric guitar.
That's got a nice sound, acoustic.
It
guitar,
does,
you know?
and I
like
love it. The audience loves it. They're amazed that I can do
Yeah.
what I can do on a heavy string acoustic guitar.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's harder now than it was before, but yeah, I remember those early videos of us. I was using
So,
the acoustic.
so are you originally from Tucson, Nathan?
No,
No.
I grew up on Long Island
Long
in
Island.
New York. Yeah.
Wow, that's a way.
South Shore,
South Shore.
East Meadow, Nassau County.
Oh, cool.
For people that know, the region, that'll give them a sense of where I'm from.
Yeah, I knew you'd go back to New York a few times and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's where your roots are at.
Uh huh. Yeah, unlike Ted, like Ted's family is very musical. His dad was a drummer. His grandfather was a music professor.
Yeah.
Me, I come from a long line of accountants.
Oh, okay.
But I did get a good lesson, though. You know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. My dad, one of his clients, they would come around every year, and after doing their taxes, like the dining room discussion. I mean, these people are all dead now, so it's not really a problem to talk about them. But he would complain, you know, because these two women, they own real estate, and had partnerships, and you know, doing their taxes, their husbands would write off like $40,000 guitars and stuff like that. And it was like, why are they doing it? You know, like, what's going on? So those guys were the good rats.
Yeah.
And so my father, even though he didn't teach me a note how to play music,
Yeah.
he really told me that if, you know, he was between the lines telling me that if I was going to really want to do this, that I was going to need to find somebody that owned something, but I didn't get the lesson.
I
So
see.
here I am sitting with Ted
I
in
got
your
it.
house.
Where are you from?
I was born in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Lincoln, Nebraska.
My dad was Air Force, so he moved
Air
around a lot.
Force.
My parents moved around a lot,
Uh-huh.
and I always managed to find out where they lived.
Yeah. So have you played in any other cities or
No.
So what about San Francisco?
Oh yeah.
San
That's
Francisco?
right. Yeah.
What about
Texas.
Bisbee?
Bay Area, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was actually, since I've been a musician forever, I really did do a lot. You know, I played all over.
Yeah.
I was here like at 6 years old, though. You know.
In Tucson?
Yeah, I was 6 different states before then, and then here, Tucson. I was.
He
you know,
played the Montgomery Ward gig.
Yeah,
Oh.
that was my first paycheck gig. I played with a banjo player, and we were hired by Montgomery Wards. We sat on the hay bales and sold Wrangler jeans. We had a new
Really?
jingle that we
Promotional
came
type
out.
thing then?
I don't think they bought our jingle,
Uh-huh.
but we did get a paycheck for the time we spent on the
Okay.
hay bale playing music.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, that was my first paying job in Tucson. Since then I've been a professional musician basically my whole life. I've always
That's
gotten
hard to
paid.
do, you know.
And there's a lot that I have done for free.
Yeah.
Generally, you know, as a professional musician, like to the point where it was all that I get for my bills. So I was really jealous about the money.
Yeah.
But lately, I gotta say I really haven't thought about that as a thing at all.
Okay.
What I've really been after is the music. The money, I have a day job, so
Yeah.
like it really is a drag because my whole life I didn't used to do that.
So that's really
Yeah, it's a
hard,
total drag.
hard to
That's a full-out drag. It hurts everywhere.
yeah.
I've paid in places I didn't know I had places now, but I try to keep moving forward as a musician.
Yeah.
Only because I love the music. Money, I had opportunities for that or whatever. It's not really how I want my music to be. I don't want that to be the gauge of value,
Yeah. Yeah.
whether we made money or not. But if you're looking at whether we made money or not, you can't ignore the years of Friday night paychecks.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I wound up doing the math.
Did
And
it?
I wound up doing the math, and it's not. It's where it's not a formula that you can realistically
It's not a
expect
lot. And
to.
besides
Oh, no.
everything that we've learned, almost all of
Yeah.
it
It
has
goes
gone
back in.
into
More of it actually. We're
more of it,
we're
yeah.
upside down.
We have
Yeah.
been so
Because-
upside down.
Because I prove, I know
Yeah.
that.
that we haven't made really any money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's tough to make money as a group. I mean, really. I mean,
Yeah, the guy's getting paid, and then there's nothing left. It's
Right.
like you
Everybody's
want
right.
everybody shows up, they dedicate
Yeah.
their time.
It's basically
Just,
parking.
and they've got
dinner.
they've got expenses too.
Yeah.
We got guitar
course.
strings and amps and
you got all
Parking.
that stuff.
parking
Dinner.
and things break and right 5 hours you
Yeah.
need some dinners and
Yeah, everything. Just
Gas.
everything.
Yeah.
It's
it
just
doesn't add up. So you really do have to love it. You have to be doing it for
Well,
the
yeah,
right reasons.
you know, that's the way it is in music, and
Right,
I'm not gonna.
definitely for me. So being, from Tucson, was, I guess, beneficial. I have connections now that go way back. People who know me and know my character,
Yeah.
so that ultimately my character can't be entirely assassinated. They're like, wait a minute, we know that guy.
Oh.
He's not a potato-headed alien. I knew his mom and dad.
It's an interesting word. Potato-headed alien.
What, you've never been called a potato?
No, not once. I like that, of course.
Yeah, it follows us around, that stuff.
That's interesting. Yeah. So, you're not a recording group then, I take it? Because
Well, we
because
have.
you do a
We
lot of
have.
ad-lib?
No,
You
we've recorded some things,
Okay.
but just not released. Like, for instance, had we done some things tonight, I might have been worried about releasing some of just even the skills
Yeah.
that I have
Oh, okay.
on a close, shot, where somebody could just look at what it is and just take it.
Yeah.
But I don't care a lot about that. I'd be really honored if
Yeah.
somebody spent that much time to figure it out. It'd be even cooler if they figured out intelligently, why I chose the editing notes.
Okay, yeah.
So that they had not only just where I was doing the knowledge of what I was doing, but why
Yeah.
I was doing what I was doing, where I was doing it.
Okay.
So that'd be really cool. That's what I used to do
Yeah.
with Jerry and Bobby. I would go, the Grateful Dad, and
Yeah.
I would stand on the Jerry Garcia side, and I would watch, his hand position. Learn, what it was, so I could kind of understand
Yeah.
how to do what he was doing. And Bobby, I would do the same thing. I'd stand on Bobby's side, watch his hands,
Yeah.
to see, and I was at work when I
Yeah.
was there. I've never been a passive
Yeah.
listener to music.
Yeah.
I'm aggressive.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me when I learned minute by minute, that intro.
Oh, I love that.
You
Yeah.
know, and,
Yeah.
I've watched Michael McDonald, and the way he did it, and a few other people that
Very
know how to
cool
play it,
syncopation,
and, it's an
percussive.
interesting piece, but you really got to watch the fingers, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it's,
Yeah. Without the knowledge for me, I probably would not be the music.
a lot of stuff's not
player,
written,
I'm kind of a heady player.
Um,
Try to.
And
Yeah.
Ted's also generous with his knowledge.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be in this situation if it weren't for his patience and generosity.
That's it. That's it. So, future plans, just you're going to continue doing
Well,
your gigs at
it's the
clubs?
whole discussion. It just really hits home on a lot of things. And,
Right
I
now,
think
we have to just hold on.
we're
and
focused on
shelter
being,
the storm for a while.
on being
When you
creative.
say the storm, you mean
Well,
what?
there's
Life is a storm,
Yeah.
and right now we need to get through, what's going on.
Well, what I was saying,
for
though,
instance,
is-
we've had we just finished a wedding, St. Patrick's
Oh,
Day,
okay.
and
That's
now we've got
But
street fair,
where I was going
and that's
with
like
it-
a lot of work.
So
all
you're
of
talking
us-
about a different storm.
I'm talking about what I'm saying is I think that the reason that we continue on and why we're here, and regardless of what the challenges are tomorrow that we face or the day after, or what it is that we faced in the past, is that we've stayed focused on our creativity and moving that forward, and that the longer that we continue to communicate musically, the more interesting the conversation becomes.
Okay.
So
And I think that there is a future. I really enjoyed your interview and the way that you have your cameras and
Oh.
you
Oh,
have
yes.
everything set up.
Oh,
What I want to do with our space
Uh-huh.
at our rehearsal space is to do something not unlike what you have, to
Okay.
where I can broadcast live,
Okay.
stream
it's
live
actually
music, and
Yeah.
put music out there, and let that be the conversation, and see how it goes. Just so I got
Yes.
to tell you, that would be for Elevenacity.
Yeah.
In
we might
step.
ask you
That'd
for
be
your
a big
help.
step.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might need
Oh, by all
a
means, I'll help.
definite.
Yeah, sure.
We definitely could use someone like you who's
Yeah.
been through all of this.
Yeah.
How to make it just
Yeah.
exactly, work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a small
But
it's
I
a small
also-
investment in equipment. Most
Right.
of it is the knowledge
Right.
that
Yep. Yep.
what
Sure.
you do with certain things. But I
Right.
can show you all that. I mean, I can show you
Yeah.
things you need to do.
Yeah.
You'll need things like you'll need a decent computer.
Right.
So, but things
Yeah.
like lighting, pretty easy.
Yeah.
You just gotta get used to the space you're in,
Yeah.
and figure out all the ins and outs of where you're at.
Right.
And
Yeah.
equipment, of course, it's not
Yeah.
much different than band equipment.
Right.
There's some quirks here and some things that you're gonna run into.
Right.
But
I guess that would be our next step.
yeah,
To go cyberly on tour for us,
Yeah.
I think would
And then
be
you're not beholden to venue.
more
And
realistic.
Yeah.
that could easily fill in our other
Yeah.
5 or 6 nights a week
well,
without
I
having
think
to work.
Tucson, and I think a lot of bands here should do more of that, because actually it seems like Tucson is a little bit behind that. Because
We
if
don't
you
want to
go outside,
stop doing our Friday nights.
Yeah.
It's really what
Yeah.
connects us viscerally to
Uh-huh.
the community, and I can only see that continuing to
Yeah.
grow, and like
Yeah.
all the other acts
Mhm.
there, become really respectable. But I think that on the side, if
Yeah.
there's something that we're going to do in the future,
Yeah,
that's definitely on the roads.
Yeah.
We've
you
been
know.
actually thinking about it,
We've been developing the infrastructure
Yeah.
so far.
looking at the
Yeah.
space and considering
Yeah.
where things go
Right.
and what it is that we need to get and
yeah.
what have
No,
you.
I'll definitely help you with that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be ready for that very shortly.
Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah. Like I was saying, I think Tucson's a bit behind the times on that, because if you go, you see other parts of the world, in different cities and stuff like that, people are so already into that sort of thing.
Right.
Where
Yeah.
they've got their
Yeah.
rehearsal space, and
Yeah.
they're ready to record at any time.
Right.
They just flip on the
Right.
switch and
Right.
they start, and they're
Yeah,
live
that's what we
streaming.
want to be. Yeah, live
You know.
streaming, recording,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
And so,
Flip of a switch.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's
yeah,
what we
and
want.
so that's.
There's a lot of interesting stuff that happens in our
Yes.
studio,
Oh, yeah.
musically.
But I think a lot of people are starting to. It's a trend now that people want to see more of that, because
Right,
not
and
everybody
to-
can get to the club.
And not only that, there's some kids, like you said, not
Yeah.
everybody wants to go to club, can go to club. Like kids. So where do they get to have their
Yeah.
blast,
Right.
cop their nut? That'll be our studio where
Yeah.
they can, tell all their pals.
Yes.
Watch the video.
Uh-huh.
It's coming on at 8 o'clock, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Plus, we'll actually have monitors on the outside of the
Yeah.
venue where people can, pile out of the
Yeah.
venue itself and onto the patio area with a little
Yeah.
fire and look at a monitor,
Yeah.
see what's going on.
Food truck.
Food
Food
truck,
truck, yeah.
lock gate, private party.
Yeah. But the other thing about the videoing, and with the band thing, that a lot of people don't get on stage is the personal interaction with the musicians and how you work. And a lot of people love to see musicians that are really working their art, in rehearsal, because it's more wow. I didn't know they did things like that, or they take an active interest in it. So
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
good move on your part if you're gonna do that.
Yeah.
You actually be ahead of the game, because very few bands are doing that here in Tucson. So that's a good move. Yeah.
Now they're gonna hear me in if I dig a hole in the desert, somebody will come and dig a hole right next to mine.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so when's your next gig? Let's see, today's
Tomorrow.
Thursday, tomorrow night? Yeah.
We
Let's
had
see,
a
what's
rehearsal. We normally rehearse on Wednesday nights.
I'd go check you out tomorrow night, but I've got a sax player coming in and doing some tracking
Sweet.
tomorrow night.
Well, we're there every Friday.
Well,
so
I
that's
love
the
how
thing.
you're always busy. That's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Love
And then
that.
if
Extremely
you
busy,
also if you come on a week where there's a keyboard rig too,
Oh.
we'd love to have you sit in.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. Yeah, just tell me which songs and what key you're in.
Okay, we'll just tell you what key we're in.
Oh,
You won't know the song anyway.
Nah, that's fine. Yeah, yeah. I'll let.
Or maybe you will.
Yeah.
Ted plays a lot of jazz. He knows the real.
Oh, does he really?
He knows the real book jazz. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
used to-
jazzology. Yeah.
I used to have a gig where I played for Charlie Gann.
Oh, really?
Charlie Gann was a nightclub owner throughout the United States.
Oh, okay.
He had a jazz club in South Carolina, but he also had a jazz club in Bisbee. Brian Dean
Oh,
had a
okay,
gig
yeah.
there, and so did Danny Krieger.
Brian Dean.
Those guys like
Yeah.
Danny Krieger and Brian Dean would get to
Yeah.
work there because they're jazz blues.
Yeah, well, I know Brian Dean is one of my favorites. Yeah.
One of the best.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, one of the very best.
He and
so-
Ted know each other a long time.
Oh, really?
And they play
I think
together.
he's a Facebook friend of mine.
They play together every weekend too, like
Oh.
that. Ted.
He's another
Ted,
hot
yeah.
staple. Reason
Oh,
why
okay,
I'm
yeah.
alive died.
Okay.
Yeah, I owe him my life. Yeah, definitely
That's
a brother
cool.
from another mother.
That's
Brian Dean, love him.
Yeah.
And so Brian Dean played with Charlie Gann, and Charlie Gann had a restaurant down there.
Yeah.
And to do the gig, I needed to be able to do a few standards because it was a dinner nightclub,
Yeah.
thing. So
Right.
like the
Those
first
standards, yeah.
hour, was real book.
Yeah.
In the second hour, I could open it up.
Yeah.
And then finally got to the point where I just brought Mike Begalia and Randy Clemens from Top Dead Center down there one
Yeah.
night, and we did Death all night.
Oh, that's
That's
neat.
so funny. But I got away with it because we did it really well,
Oh, that's cool.
and it was really good
Yeah.
Grateful Dead music.
That's neat.
Mike Begalia, and
Yeah.
Randy Clemens. And
That's good.
So what were you playing? Or Mike Begalia was playing bass?
No, yeah, he was a bass player at the time. But I did have to learn, and at the time,
Yeah.
I was a student of Scott Bakelin, and I was going up the Gulch Scott Bakelin has a degree from Berkeley,
Okay. Berkeley, yeah.
and so Berkeley School of Music, and so I was going up the Gulch to his house to get pages and CDs
Oh, okay, yeah.
from the real book and study material and charts so that I could, learn things.
Yeah. So you read music
Listen to
too.
grooves.
Yeah.
Not necessarily read music,
Yeah.
but I do read charts.
Oh, charts. Well, that's there's
The head
this
is a
level of
little more
reading, there's that level of
complicated. I
reading,
could
yeah.
probably work out the head, especially if I heard it,
Yeah.
because as soon as I see the chart and I know that what's going to be the functions, the
Uh-huh.
head is going to be inside those functions.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's,
Everybody's got their way.
everybody's
got their method.
right,
you know.
1, 2, banana, 2, not,
Yeah.
my ciphering,
Uh-huh.
I'm a punch guy on the keyboard player,
On the
on the
keys,
keys, but I get the sentence correct,
That's neat. That's really neat. Well, I won't go check you out this week because I got that thing going on tomorrow. But next week, I'll go check you guys out.
Yeah,
All
maybe
right.
as you say, let us know because maybe as Nathan said, there might be a keyboard player up, maybe
Yeah.
not, but maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even if it's
You
just
never
to
know.
listen, and I don't think I've ever seen you guys. So
Did you ever listen to any Grateful Dead or
I
a little
mean,
bit?
I've heard all kinds of music.
Right.
I'm one of these people that I was classically trained back there. I did composition and
Right.
piano and stuff, but I've listened to every type of music
Me
throughout
too.
my entire life.
There's a
Me
song
too. My
that
dad was really great. Manuel Reyes
Yes.
was a jazz drummer in
Yeah.
Tucson, played with Tom Shennick Quartet. And his dad was Theodore Reyes,
Yeah.
who was a professor of music, played cello, violin,
Okay.
viola. And so for me, I got all music growing up. I got to listen to everything.
That's really neat.
And whatever crazy Alice Cooper or
Yeah.
David Bowie, Dad was okay with it.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, well, that's what the kids got down.
Yeah.
So he was cool. He just let me listen to just everything. Exposed me to Wes Montgomery, exposed me to
Okay.
Temptations, exposed me to music from Canada and France and Europe, and I was more educated musically
Yeah.
probably than the kid down the block.
That's cool.
Because he just listened to the radio. I listened to radio too.
Yeah.
I listened to everything on it, all kinds of other weird albums that,
Yeah.
were, esoteric darkness.
this explains a lot
To Mike
Yeah.
Palmer.
because he was exposed to Canadian music as a child.
The Canadian music.
Yeah, Chino. Yeah.
I I won't delve into that. You know, I know some musicians that joke about that. So
Randy,
yeah,
Randy Bachman, Bachman
Yeah.
Turner Overdrive.
yeah, exactly. You know, that's neat. That's really so. You have some jazz exposure. That's cool.
Right, yeah, I had to get some, I had to get there. I was lucky, Carlos Guitarless was a guy that gave me the number system. I
Uh-huh.
was lucky to use that to
Yeah.
learn charts and framework for, you know, how songs are A
Yeah.
part, you know, and then B part,
Right.
you know, and maybe a C part,
Right.
you know, a first ending, second ending.
Yes.
And you're pretty much ready to go,
Yeah.
you know. Especially if you're just the rhythm guitar player.
Yeah.
Someone, horn players
Yeah.
going to be playing the head, or a keyboard player's going to be playing the head.
Yeah.
So you're just responsible for your rhythm parts with bass player and drummer, and your solo if you
Yeah.
choose to take
Right.
one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love soloing. You know, piano. Give me the chord. I'll solo. You know.
But as a piano player, a lot of times you're involved with the head of this jazz piece.
Well, yeah, it depends if you're.
If you're doing Spain,
Yeah,
you're definitely on the
yeah,
head.
you're comping, you know, for the song, you know, it's like, and then yeah, when your time comes up, you know, switches, you know,
You're gonna be there.
it switches.
Rock songs usually only have like an A, B, or a C. A really
Yeah.
complicated one might have a D. I play in a klezmer band, and we have one piece where we start at I. All right, everybody, start at I. I'm like, you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we start at I, and then we go back to how we go through to Z, and then back to the top of the alphabet.
Yeah.
And then we have to use a different alphabetical system because there's only 20. Yeah, I'm just
It's a
kidding.
universal language, you know. Yeah.
Music is great. It's the best.
That
It is the best. Music is the
Yeah,
best.
it is. Well, you know, next week I'm gonna check you out.
Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Yeah, and
And
I want to
thank
thank you
you-
for
Thank you
coming.
for- yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you all
Thank you
out
for
there
listening.
in the world.
Did you get what you wanted,
Tuning in.
needed?
For this?
Yes.
Oh, we're still recording, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah,
Yes.
and I want to thank both you and of course the entire band because they're we're talking about everybody here. So
Yeah.
Yes.
and
And everybody that helped us get
yeah,
here.